Hello, I'm Jeff Hajek, the owner and founder of Valaction Continuous Improvement. I'd like to thank you for your interest in my continuous improvement development system. In this phase, you will build the foundation of your business management system. The focus here is creating the structure upon which you can apply the variety of tools that support lean operations. The team will emphasize creating flow and eliminating waste. It will also become extremely accustomed to using standard work and other forms of standardization to stabilize processes. Finally, you will roll out Kaizen events during this phase. Phase 4 principles. As with all of our phases, phase 4 is principle-based. These principles should guide your action in the absence of specific tools or activities within the program. Principle: focus on processes. Everything a company does can be boiled down to a process. Even highly flexible, creative jobs are processes. When a process is followed the same way every time by every person doing it, it provides a basis for improvement. If the job is done haphazardly, things will never get better. Principle: learn to learn. Most people take a passive approach to learning. They just absorb lessons rather than try to dive into problems and take wisdom away from failure. To be successful at building a continuous improvement culture, you have to take a different approach to learning. An organization will not get better unless it learns from its collective mistakes. This implies both individual learning and organizational sharing of knowledge. To complicate the matter, people have 3 common failure modes in their learning. The first is that they don't recognize their gap in knowledge. Basically, this means they don't know what they don't know. The second problem is that they don't acknowledge the gap. If they don't know something, they tolerate that lack of understanding. And the final problem is that they don't know how to go about closing the gaps that they do recognize and care about. That just means they don't know how to learn effectively. Principle: build and empower teams. One of the knocks against lean and continuous improvement is that it treats people like robots. This is true only when it is poorly executed. Standard work and other forms of standardization do require people to work the same way every time. The problem is that many leaders force standardization but go no further. In an organization with a good culture of improvement, teams are not only allowed but are encouraged and even required to improve their processes. In addition, great teams are given the skills and authority to make decisions in the absence of leadership. Principle: create structure. An effective business management system built upon a continuous improvement culture demands a great deal of structure. While conventional wisdom says rigidity in processes stifles creativity, the truth is that when the structure is well designed, it does the opposite. The framework makes managing day-to-day operations easier. It also provides a robust support system for handling problems. The end result is that individuals are able to accomplish more with less effort. This kind of structure does not happen by accident, though. It takes a substantial investment to build it and must be maintained to keep it from crumbling. Principle: embrace simplicity. Mark Twain famously said something to the effect of, "If I had more time, I would have written a shorter story." There's a paradox that it can be harder to build a simple solution than a complicated one. That's because we have been conditioned to look to advanced technology as the go-to solution, and we marvel at the number of buttons on a machine as a badge of honor. The truth is that simple is hard. It can be a challenge to rein in our urge to make bigger, more sophisticated solutions when a simple one will suffice. In the end, though, simplicity is easier to use mistake-free, and it breaks down less often than complexity. A rule of thumb is to look for the simplest solution you can find to a problem and then make it simpler. The resource team. There is one hard and fast rule you absolutely must follow if you embark on a continuous improvement journey. Most other things can be adjusted to suit your needs, or you can compensate around them, but this one is non-negotiable. Never, ever, ever make continuous improvement result in somebody losing their job. Don't even let it have the appearance that this is happening. You need employee engagement to make lean work. If the team is scared of enabling the management group to fire them, they will oppose any CI program the company attempts. So you have a few options. The most common one is growth without hiring. Basically, people freed up from one work area help the company avoid hiring a person in another area. This presumes that the company is growing faster than improvement is improving productivity. Sometimes this won't be the case, or the timing won't line up, or the skill sets don't match. In those cases, people can go to a resource team. This is basically a group of people that are available to support projects. When a team needs a few extra people to help, the resource team is a good talent pool. They can also be quickly trained to backfill groups when a member is on a project team. In addition, they can help with pre-work or can manage any shared resource area. The bottom line is that a resource team can act to speed up the pace of improvement and can help you develop great talent within the organization. One word of caution though, don't dump poor performers onto the resource team. Its role is challenging and it pushes people to improve personally. Make it a springboard to better jobs. That means high performers should be released from teams to join it. It can be a real challenge to convince leaders to cut their best team members loose though. But if you really do hire your next generation of leadership from the people who have served on resource teams, you'll make it appealing to team members and a known source of talent for leaders who are expanding their teams. Waste walks. In Phase 4, you are really starting to get things moving at a rapid pace. To get people on board with this, they have to see a need. If they think things are great, they'll be resistant. Waste walks are a great way to open people's eyes. Let the team members observe their processes with an eye to waste and have them write down their observations. You'll tackle these items later, but for now, the goal is to get people to start looking at processes with a more critical eye. Red tag areas. In Phase 3, you start at 5S and it will continue in Phase 4. One of the byproducts of 5S is a lot of spare equipment. The red tag system is a tool to make sure needed equipment isn't removed. The item is flagged with a red tag to indicate that someone thinks it is not needed. If anyone disagrees, they know in advance so it doesn't just disappear. The tools that do leave end up in a red tag area. Basically, that's a free swap meet. One person's leftovers is another person's treasure. Free items in a red tag area also encourages experimentation on project teams. They are far more willing to try things if the cost is minimal. Kanban. Another big change in Phase 4 is the Kanban system. It is a visual reordering system designed to prevent line stoppage from stockouts. Basically, signals, normally cards, are used to order items. The most common variant is the two-bin system, in which an empty bin starts the reorder process. Behind the empty bin is a full bin, which is used as the new materials work their way through the supply chain. While the concept is relatively simple, it can take a lot of work to implement it, and it can ruffle the feathers of people who are vested in computerized ordering systems. Kanban can be designed to play nice with MRP types of systems, but they have the advantage of being highly visual. Any operator on the front line knows the status of parts in an instant and can quickly identify problems. Kaizen Activity. In Phase 4, you begin teaching the Kaizen process. This is not only the traditional week-long event, but a way to start thinking about how to make every improvement, big or small. You'll want to get a calendar with your Kaizen activity on it. Focus on your pilot areas first. Production boards and daily management. A rather big change in Phase 4 is the introduction of structured management. Basically, daily management is a process of making realistic targets based on current staffing and processes, and then tracking production throughout the day against those targets. More importantly, anytime there is a delta or a difference between the plan and reality, positive or negative, you investigate right away. Problems are far easy to identify as they are happening. Future leaders. Phase 4 also presents a chance to start developing improvement leaders in the form of black belts, who can train teams, and master black belts, who can train trainers. In addition, you'll create a leadership funnel for future leaders within the departments of the company. This will help you start cultivating their talent and guiding them down a path to where you eventually think they should end up. This is a years-long endeavor. About Phase 4. Phase 4 should last about 6 to 12 months. You are rolling out a lot of new concepts, so it will take some time. Just don't let progress stall. It is easy to fall off the CI wagon in Phase 4. In fact, while Phase 3 risk is a bit lower, it rises again in Phase 4. This is because you'll start seeing a lot of tangible changes, and the front line will start doing things differently. If the leadership team is not diligent and proactive and positive, the resistance can build to the point that the system collapses. Moving to Phase 5. Phase 4 has a lot of tools that need to be put in place, at least in pilot areas. Without a solid understanding of the tools and a good working example of them within the company, don't try moving on to Phase 5. In reality, though, the boundary can be a bit of a gray area. You can start working on the new Phase 5 tools without all the Phase 4 tools fully rolled out for your company. Just don't start implementing new tools in a widespread manner until you have mastered the Phase 4 tools. Okay, that's it for the Phase 4 overview. If you want help, contact Volaction at info@volaction.com. We've also got a pretty extensive catalog of training materials at volactionstore.com. Many of our items are free, so check it out even if you are not ready to buy now. Finally, as always, best wishes on your continuous improvement journey. Thanks for watching Volaction videos. If you like what you see, please click the subscribe link or like it down below. Thank you.